All right, the North Plains Urban Renewal Agency Board meeting is now in session at 9:25. Well, I'm sorry, we did the pledge of allegiance. Lori, can you roll call?
Thank you. Commissioner Dumbrell,
Present.
Commissioner Page,
Present.
Commissioner Hagedorn,
Present.
Commissioner Pippin,
Present.
Commissioner Reddy,
Here.
and Commissioner McCall Wallace has resigned from council.
Thank
So we
you.
now have 2 vacancies.
Oh, yeah. That'll get dealt. All right, so I will now entertain a motion for approval of the special session agenda and minutes from the previous meeting, June 16th.
I move to approve the special agenda session and minutes from June 16th.
Do I have a motion? Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, moved by Councilor Hagedorn, Commissioner Hagedorn, seconded by Commissioner Pippin. All those in favor of approving the special session agenda and board minutes of June 16th, say aye.
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 All opposed? Motion carries. You're approved. All right, now we move on to public comment, and we have written comment from Don Weber by email, and then I have Kathy Bishop. Kathy, if you can just state your name and you're within the city limits or outside for the record, please.
Kathy Bishop, and I guess rural resident is what I heard, so I'm going with that. So I'm the owner of the Sister and Stuff LLC, which is the new building that, old building that is being renewed on the corner just down by Jesse Mays here. We're creating a vintage antique shop. I've spoken to you guys before. Just wanted to briefly, I saw I made the agenda, so I just wanted to thank all of you for, the consideration. Having read through, the 2006 North Plains Urban Renewal, I do feel like, we meet the requirements within the document, but I know there are probably a lot of businesses in our area that do. We have invested a lot to make the look very good. The building I think we can all agree, looks much better than it did. But with every step we take, there seems to be more funds, funds needed to try to get to opening. I mean, we've been 3 years without income coming from this. So anything that can be done would be great. But again, I think also I would ask that as a committee, a lot of the businesses in the area could really use the support to make it look better, create more things for our residents to care for, and, make it a place that brings people in. I know funds have been provided to food related in the past. But again, you need some resources that people are coming for something else that brings them in. And I think we can give that. It also, is very much a sustaining. We're, selling vintage items, things that have been used. Stuff isn't going to the landfill. So there's a lot of good things happening. I hope y'all get a chance to stop in, however it goes. We really have a lot of passion for what we're doing, and we hope that you'll come and see us. But again, thank you for your consideration. I appreciate what you're doing, and I appreciate all of your late hours that you put in. So thank you.
Thank you,
Can I ask
Kathy.
a follow-up?
Go ahead.
If you ask a follow-up question?
Sure.
You did a lot of work over there. I see a lot of work being done. How much work did you have to put into it to get the clean water services to be okay? What did that take for the remediation for that?
So with just the grading work done on the outside that was required, the asphalt, the rain garden, that alone was close to $90,000.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, new business. So Bill and I talked about the URA plan extension and update discussions, as well as the incentive program discussion, so go ahead, Bill.
Yeah, no, thank you, Chair Dunbar. So I'll keep this quick. This week, no, sorry, not this week, last week. I did have a good meeting, with, Elaine Howard, who does Elaine Howard Consulting. And, she's going to be here on the 17th, second meeting of November, and she is going to do an urban renewal, tax increment finance, urban renewal, 101 discussion with you all. And when she comes in and does that, it's highly tailored to the plan, to the community. If they don't have a plan, but if they do have a plan, whatever the status is, district, it's highly tailored to that. So she'll come with like a specific review, and recommendations for our, plan and district based on what she pulls together. So it's not gonna be a same presentation she gives everywhere else. So she'll be here on the 17th. Very specifically, two items. The need to extend the sunset date. Her review of the plan and documents is that actually should just be, there's a process, but ultimately it's really simply a resolution of this body to extend the sunset date. She's gonna highly recommend that there are discussions with other taxing districts who would be affected by that. But it's a conversation she recommends, and then but there's no big process. It's just a resolution by this body to do it, informed by that. So, and there's no supreme rush on that. So she'll give you a schedule for when all that can work. And then as far as the plan update, that is a major effort. And we will probably have to go to bid. It's so big. We'll have to, we'll get different proposals to do that, but it's a pretty sizable project. She did let me know that she is going to be stepping back into, she calls it retirement. But she'll be stepping back into a purely consulting advisory role with a consulting team she's worked with for a long time. So when the urban renewal plan, new plan update project, you all agree to go out and get bids. She and her team will probably bid on it, but it won't be Elaine. It won't be her firm per se that bids on it. So anyway, she'll be here to talk about that on the 17th.
And then anything on the incentive programs discussion?
Well, yeah, so, in the packet, what I did was I included basically all the programmatic information in the application for the new food service tenant improvement program. And the intent there was really, if you had the opportunity to take a look at it, the intent was really just to let you know that when we set up a grant program just to give away public money, other taxing entities' money, since they agreed to let us have urban renewal and we can spend it. We have to be very careful about having a specific policy and program in order to do it in a fair, equitable manner. And so that's why that program was set up very specifically to help certain types of businesses under certain conditions. The program describes everything that, the program document lets you know what's trying to be accomplished, what types of expenses are qualifying, and how to go about doing that and getting bids on the costs of it. I mean, it's very specific, and it's meant to just be a very, not overly formal, but a particularly systematic process so that you all and taxpayers know that, and then our partner agencies know that we were using the money wisely. Which brings us to sisters and stuff. I just want you to know that the EDC has, we like sisters and stuff. It's great to get their business to be here and the investment. And the EDC did a cleanup day and helped them clean up the property, one of the cleanup days a couple of years ago. And, planning staff worked with them on certain, exemptions or changes in the rules, or allowable exception to rules on a couple of things, just to try to make it a bit easier for them. So I guess what I want you to know is that staff and the EDC have, we've had a good relationship with them. So when I come up and say it's, that it's difficult to just propose or endorse or encourage endorsement of a grant for their business, it's not about not helping them. I mean, if you all come to a point where you decide on how to do it and want to do it, that's fine. But it's really just the rule, having a good, set of, having a set procedure to do it properly. Because what you want to avoid as a body is getting, random applications, coming in where you don't kind of have rules set up so that the process went well and rules were followed. So we can talk about how to get there, and they might end up, they can be a qualifying business potentially, but I would just encourage a process like that so we can do it that way.
Yeah, the process I like to look at is something that adds value to future businesses, not only that business, like the essential stuff is great, but if they're full tomorrow, that building is now improved, so get a better quality of next tenant in there, right? So that's something that improves North Plains. So that's kind of, I like that idea. So,
The only other thing I would add is, and I'm not suggesting, that, it doesn't have to take a long time, but what I will say is I did meet, and I let Commissioner Dunbar know this. I had a meeting with a consultant who's helping the city of Banks with their some urban renewal planning or project planning that they're doing. And he's gonna write up a scope of work to kind of take a look at our current urban renewal district, commercial and Glencoe and commercial, and kind of scope doing some work just to kind of identify ultimately where, kind of what types of programs or incentives would best match up with the kinds of businesses we have and their particular needs. So to help inform you with that. So that's coming too. So just let you know.
Okay, so. Any other thoughts on anything that's brought up, sisters and stuff, the et cetera, programs, et cetera, yes, Cassie?
Has the EDC done any, or is there any previous work at our fingertips that outlines other cities and how they manage, or what guardrails they have for these programs? I mean, I'm more than happy to go and do the investigating myself, but I wasn't sure if we had done any previous research on that.
That's a great question. So partial, yes. Commissioner, hang on, Commissioner. So a couple of years ago, they went and reviewed a bunch of updated urban renewal plans, like other cities doing new urban renewal plans or updating them to inform when this city finally pulls the trigger on an updated urban renewal plan. And there's some of that in there. And then I will say that staff have already begun doing that. We've pretty thoroughly identified, for instance, not particularly pertaining to the sisters and stuff per se. Well, actually, yes. Some cities have a program where it's a grant program that if this was early in the process with sisters and stuff, that would have been a starting point. But we have some examples and we can come to you all about it. But there are grant programs and other URAs, for instance, where a grant can be awarded $5,000 to $6,000 just to help the property owner or business do a plan. So that when they can come into the city with whatever they're doing and they have like a plan that's going to go through planning far better, inform the process better. And then they have some money to hire somebody to help them professionally think about what they're doing. And that just takes some money out of pre-development costs for them.
Is that something that would come out of Elaine's engagement?
We can do that before.
Okay, never mind, sorry.
Yeah, no, it's okay.
That's great.
The other consultant I mentioned that's helping banks, he can help, that would be something that he would potentially address, but I can tell you right now, it's doable.
Okay.
And it's something that we
It's just the how is what I was wondering, yeah.
It sounds like there's 2 deliverables, and that would be the second opportunity for us to
Okay.
address.
But that's just another one. But there are other programs. So I can't tell you all of them that EDC's process identified. And they could go down the path of doing research too, if they got to ask, hey, we know you did new URA planning work to see what Estacada did and see what Cornelius did and so on and so forth. Could you take the next step and find out what incentives programs they now use, like when they were doing? Or you can, I'm not discouraging you from doing it either, but like there has been a fair amount of work.
It would be helpful if possible to see that. I don't know how we could, but when time is appropriate.
Sure.
Anybody else? Okay, so yes, please.
Just a quick question, Bill, this is Counselor Piedmont. I know you had mentioned Elaine will give us more of a timeline for extending the URA before it sunsets. Do you have a ballpark? Is this a, a 6-week process? Is this 3 months? Are we
The
near
extended
critical
sunset date?
stage? Are we near critical stage? Like, how long does it take if we were to extend it? I
Okay,
just want to make sure we are not approaching a hard deadline and missing out.
no, that's a great question. Commissioner Papen, so I asked the question. And it takes a month and it costs $5,000.
Perfect.
That's
That's what I wanted to know.
But as far as critical time frame, because it really, so let me put the asterisk on that should go away. Is we're scheduling a meeting with BEH's urban renewal expert. Just to get their read of our documents to make sure that when Elaine went through everything. Based on all the other ones she's worked on similarly, done by the consultant that did it, Jeff Tashman, way back in the day. It should just be a vote by council, but by the commission, but informed by some conversations with our service, our partners. So because it should only take about a month. Not that we're looking to delay it, but she'll talk about when she can do it, but that will probably be done by no later than the end of January. And then we're still 5-6 months before the deadline, before the sunset date would have ended, or the sunset date would have been.
Thank you.
Anybody else? All right, go ahead.
Are there any other critical path items? It sounds like it's just a legal review of BEH for the renewal.
That's it, and we'll be setting that up soon, so, yeah.
Okay, so just reminding everybody that it's 9:42. So. Commissioner Page brought up a good point on the cistern stuff. So I guess my follow-up is. Do we need to make a program change or an exception of policy, or what's the next step on that in order to vote one way or the other?
So, can I just give you my advice?
Please, that's why we're here.
Okay, here's what I would do. I think what you all can do is because of the unique circumstances. I think what you could say is you could direct staff to meet with sisters and stuff and get a full kind of conversation about what the issues were, what the issues were, cost, that sort of thing. And based on that, what we can do is come back to you with, a concept that kind of makes it clear this is a special, we went through this process and, we want to honor the investment put into your property and, we'll go through a process that we can come back to you all to consider. But I guess what I would say is we'd also be very clear that it's a special one-time thing and we are going to be looking into new
Agreed.
permanent program. Yeah.
So before I get consensus on this, my other question is, what would the timeline over will be? Because I know it's the next question somebody's about to ask.
Well, it would just be kind of a matter of scheduling a meeting and hearing from them and then.
Is it something we could get done by the next board meeting next month?
Yeah, we could get, yes, we could.
And if
we could
not,
come back to it.
Just come back and tell us, hey, we did
Yeah.
slip, but we'll get it done by the next one.
I think based on the program that we do have and kind of, how we had to pull that together, it should be doable.
This council, is that acceptable or commission, whatever we are, is that acceptable? Okay, so Bill, I think you have your answer. I appreciate that. I know this is a one-off, and I appreciate you guiding us through this. That's very helpful.
Yeah, have some just permanent improvements to the property for the future tenants, they can,
That's a fair point.
something nice.
I mean, thank you. I guess what I would do is, the way I would look at it is, I don't know if you all remember the Rusty Piston when it was there, but it was the most atrocious first thing people see when they come into downtown. And the folks who own the Rusty Piston, it is now a nice looking, when you come into town or when you turn to go to Jesse Mays, or, however you come into town, it is now a nice, clean, attractive place. And from just purely a beautification standpoint, that would be one of the angles we might want to look
Yeah,
at it.
that makes sense. Yeah, but, and again, you're our expert, we're trusting you, just.
Yeah.
But, yeah, if we just I just want to move the process forward and then make a decision. All right, anything else? Before we adjourn? Council wants to say something.
Wrap it up.
Commissioner, what's that?
I agree, we should probably
Okay.
get with this.
I just want to make sure before I go.
Was a D, URA owner properties update?
Oh, sorry, Bill did allude to that, so that's the, he was meeting with the consultant banks. Who's gonna come out and give us an update on the properties, it's just, it was getting late, so we were just gonna move to the next one. I figured everybody would want to get some sleep, so did Bill.
Nah, sleep's overrated.
Those are.
All right, so we are adjourned at 9:46. Thank you.